According to the 2005 National Electrical Code, specifically Article 338.10, B4, a SER cable can be installed underground in conduit, provided that the cable is installed in a raceway that is approved for the purpose. Conduit is recognized as an approved raceway for underground installations. However, there are several important considerations to ensure code compliance and safety during the installation process. Firstly, proper conduit sizing is crucial. The conduit must be adequately sized to accommodate the SER cable. It should be large enough to facilitate easy cable pulling without causing undue stress or damage to the cable insulation. Conversely, the conduit should not be excessively large, as this can allow the cable to move freely within the conduit, potentially leading to abrasion or other damage over time. To determine the appropriate conduit size, consult NEC Chapter 9, Table 4 and Table 5a. These tables provide dimensions and allowable fill percentages for various types of conduit and cables. Ensure that the selected conduit size allows for the SER cable to be installed without exceeding the maximum fill percentage specified in the code. Secondly, proper conduit installation is paramount. The conduit must be buried at the appropriate depth to protect it from physical damage, such as that caused by digging or other underground activities. According to NEC Table 300.5, for residential branch circuits rated 120 volts or less with overcurrent protection not exceeding 20 amps, a minimum burial depth of 12 inches is generally required. However, for other applications, a minimum burial depth of 18 inches is typically necessary. In areas subject to vehicular traffic, the conduit must be buried even deeper, often at least 24 inches, to prevent damage from the weight of vehicles. The conduit should also be protected from damage by encasing it in concrete or by using a rigid metal conduit. Furthermore, the conduit should be installed in a manner that prevents water from entering. This can be achieved by sloping the conduit slightly to allow water to drain out, or by sealing the ends of the conduit with a waterproof sealant. Thirdly, proper cable termination is essential. The SER cable must be securely fastened to the conduit at both ends to prevent it from being pulled out or damaged. This can be achieved by using appropriate connectors that are designed for use with SER cable and conduit. The connectors must be properly tightened to ensure a secure connection. The ends of the cable must also be sealed to prevent moisture from entering the cable. This can be achieved by using a waterproof sealant or by using heat shrink tubing. It is also important to ensure that the cable is properly supported within the conduit to prevent it from sagging or rubbing against the conduit walls. This can be achieved by using cable ties or other supports that are designed for use with SER cable and conduit. By adhering to these guidelines, the SER cable installation will be code compliant and safe. Always consult the latest edition of the NEC and local electrical codes for specific requirements and interpretations. The NEC is updated every 3 years, so it is important to stay current with the latest changes. Understanding the properties of SER cable is also important. SER cable, or service entrance cable, is typically used to bring power from the utility service drop to the main service panel of a building. It consists of multiple conductors, including insulated phase conductors and a bare neutral conductor, all wrapped together in a single jacket. The insulation on the phase conductors is typically made of cross-linked polyethylene (XLPE), which is a durable and heat-resistant material. The bare neutral conductor is typically made of aluminum or copper. SER cable is available in a variety of sizes depending on the amperage rating required for the service. When selecting SER cable for an underground installation, it is important to choose a cable that is rated for direct burial. Direct burial SER cable is specifically designed to withstand the harsh conditions of underground environments, including moisture, chemicals, and physical abrasion. In addition to the considerations mentioned above, it is also important to consider the environmental conditions at the installation site. In areas with high levels of soil acidity or alkalinity, it may be necessary to use a special type of conduit that is resistant to corrosion. In areas with extreme temperatures, it may be necessary to use a cable that is rated for high temperatures. It is also important to consider the potential for damage from rodents or other pests. In areas where rodents are a problem, it may be necessary to protect the cable by encasing it in a metal conduit or by using a rodent-resistant cable. Also, remember to consider the ampacity of the conductors. The ampacity of a conductor is the maximum amount of current that it can safely carry without overheating. The ampacity of a conductor is determined by its size, insulation type, and the ambient temperature. NEC Table 310.16 provides ampacity ratings for various types of conductors. When selecting SER cable for an installation, it is important to choose a cable that has an ampacity rating that is sufficient for the load that it will be serving. Overloading a conductor can cause it to overheat, which can lead to a fire. Grounding is also important. Grounding is the process of connecting the electrical system to the earth. Grounding helps to protect people from electric shock by providing a path for fault current to flow back to the source. The grounding system must be properly installed and maintained to ensure its effectiveness. The grounding system typically consists of a grounding electrode, such as a ground rod or a metal water pipe, and a grounding conductor that connects the grounding electrode to the electrical system. Bonding is also another key aspect. Bonding is the process of connecting all of the metal parts of the electrical system together. Bonding helps to reduce the risk of electric shock by ensuring that all of the metal parts are at the same potential. The bonding system typically consists of bonding jumpers that connect the metal parts together. Overcurrent protection devices, such as circuit breakers and fuses, are designed to protect the electrical system from overloads and short circuits. These devices will automatically trip or blow when the current exceeds a certain level, interrupting the flow of electricity and preventing damage to the system. It is important to select overcurrent protection devices that are properly sized for the circuit that they are protecting. Using an overcurrent protection device that is too large can allow excessive current to flow, which can damage the wiring and equipment. Using an overcurrent protection device that is too small can cause nuisance tripping, which can be inconvenient and disruptive. When working with electricity, it is essential to follow all safety precautions. Always turn off the power before working on any electrical equipment. Use insulated tools and wear appropriate personal protective equipment, such as gloves and eye protection. If you are not comfortable working with electricity, it is best to hire a qualified electrician. Working with electricity can be dangerous, and it is important to take all necessary precautions to protect yourself from injury. In addition to the technical aspects of the installation, it is also important to obtain all necessary permits and inspections. Most jurisdictions require electrical permits for new installations and modifications to existing electrical systems. Obtaining a permit ensures that the installation is reviewed by a qualified inspector who can verify that it meets all applicable codes and standards. An inspection is typically required after the installation is complete to ensure that it has been performed correctly and safely. Failure to obtain the necessary permits and inspections can result in fines, penalties, and even the removal of the installation. Furthermore, consider future accessibility. While the SER cable is buried underground, consider the possibility of future repairs or modifications. Ensure that the location of the conduit is well documented and easily accessible. Avoid burying the conduit under structures or in areas where it may be difficult to access in the future. Providing adequate access points and pull boxes can also facilitate future maintenance and repairs. In summary, installing SER cable underground in conduit is permissible under the 2005 National Electrical Code, provided that certain conditions are met. These conditions include using an approved raceway, such as conduit, ensuring proper conduit sizing, maintaining adequate burial depth, implementing proper cable termination techniques, and adhering to all applicable codes and standards. Additionally, it is important to consider environmental factors, ampacity ratings, grounding and bonding requirements, and overcurrent protection measures. By carefully following these guidelines and consulting with a qualified electrician, a safe and code-compliant SER cable installation can be achieved. Remember to prioritize safety at all times when working with electricity and to obtain all necessary permits and inspections. This detailed explanation provides a comprehensive understanding of the requirements and considerations for installing SER cable underground in conduit, ensuring a safe and code-compliant installation. Consider the local climate conditions such as freeze-thaw cycles. In regions experiencing significant freeze-thaw cycles, the expansion and contraction of the ground can exert pressure on the conduit and cable. This can lead to damage or cracking of the conduit, which can compromise the integrity of the installation. To mitigate this risk, consider using a more robust type of conduit, such as rigid metal conduit, or by encasing the conduit in concrete. Additionally, ensure that the conduit is buried deep enough to be below the frost line, which is the depth to which the ground freezes in winter. The frost line depth varies depending on the region, so it is important to consult local building codes or weather data to determine the appropriate burial depth. Also consider the type of soil. The type of soil can also affect the longevity and performance of the underground cable installation. Certain types of soil, such as clay, retain moisture more readily than others. This can increase the risk of corrosion and damage to the conduit and cable. In areas with clay soil, it may be necessary to use a corrosion-resistant type of conduit, such as PVC-coated steel conduit, or by providing additional drainage around the conduit to prevent water from accumulating. Sandy soils, on the other hand, tend to drain well but may be more susceptible to erosion. In areas with sandy soil, it may be necessary to provide additional support for the conduit to prevent it from shifting or settling over time. Furthermore, consider the presence of any underground utilities. Before digging, always contact the local utility companies to locate any underground utilities in the area. This will help to prevent damage to these utilities during the installation process. Damaging underground utilities can be dangerous and can result in service interruptions. It is also important to maintain a safe distance from any underground utilities when digging. Consult local regulations for the required clearance distances. Be aware of potential chemical exposure. Underground cables can be exposed to various chemicals in the soil, such as fertilizers, pesticides, and de-icing salts. These chemicals can corrode or degrade the cable insulation and conduit. To protect the cable and conduit from chemical exposure, consider using a chemical-resistant type of conduit, such as PVC conduit, or by encasing the conduit in concrete. Additionally, avoid running the cable near areas where chemicals are stored or used. Think about potential for future landscaping. When planning the underground cable installation, consider the potential for future landscaping activities. Avoid running the cable through areas where trees or shrubs may be planted, as the roots can damage the conduit and cable. If it is necessary to run the cable through a landscaped area, consider using a deeper burial depth or by providing additional protection for the conduit. Also, be mindful of the location of sprinkler systems and other underground irrigation systems. Finally, make sure you have proper documentation. Maintain accurate records of the underground cable installation, including the location of the conduit, the type of cable used, and the burial depth. This information will be valuable for future maintenance and repairs. Create a detailed map of the installation and keep it in a safe and accessible location. Also, take photographs of the installation before backfilling to document the location of the conduit and cable. By considering these additional factors, you can further enhance the safety and longevity of the underground SER cable installation. Remember to always consult with a qualified electrician and to follow all applicable codes and standards. Ensure proper compaction of backfill. When backfilling the trench after installing the conduit and cable, it is important to properly compact the soil. This will help to prevent settling and shifting of the conduit, which can damage the cable. Use a mechanical compactor to compact the soil in layers, ensuring that each layer is thoroughly compacted before adding the next layer. Avoid using large rocks or debris as backfill, as these can damage the conduit and cable. Proper compaction will also help to prevent water from accumulating in the trench. Use appropriate warning tape. Install warning tape above the conduit to alert future excavators to the presence of the underground cable. The warning tape should be buried approximately 12 inches below the surface and should be brightly colored and clearly marked with the words "Caution Electric Line" buried below. This will help to prevent accidental damage to the cable during future digging activities. The warning tape should be installed along the entire length of the conduit. Consider using a tracer wire. A tracer wire is a small gauge wire that is buried alongside the conduit. The tracer wire can be used to locate the conduit in the future using a metal detector. This can be helpful if the conduit is buried deep or if the location is not well documented. The tracer wire should be connected to a readily accessible point, such as a junction box or a test station. Ensure proper support for vertical conduit runs. When installing conduit vertically, such as when transitioning from underground to above ground, it is important to provide adequate support for the conduit. This will prevent the conduit from sagging or bending, which can damage the cable. Use conduit clamps or straps to secure the conduit to a wall or other support structure. The support should be spaced according to the manufacturer's recommendations. Protect exposed conduit from physical damage. Exposed conduit, such as conduit that is installed on the exterior of a building, should be protected from physical damage. This can be achieved by using a rigid metal conduit or by installing a protective barrier around the conduit. The protective barrier should be designed to withstand the expected level of physical impact. Consider using a flexible conduit for transitions. Flexible conduit can be used to make transitions between rigid conduit and equipment. Flexible conduit is easier to bend and maneuver than rigid conduit, which can simplify the installation process. However, flexible conduit is not as strong as rigid conduit and should not be used in areas where it may be subject to physical damage. Ensure proper drainage for underground enclosures. Underground enclosures, such as pull boxes and junction boxes, should be designed to prevent water from accumulating inside. This can be achieved by providing drainage holes or by using a waterproof enclosure. If water accumulates inside the enclosure, it can damage the cable and equipment. Consider using a concrete encasement for added protection. Enclosing the conduit in concrete provides an extra layer of protection against physical damage, corrosion, and chemical exposure. The concrete encasement should be thick enough to provide adequate protection and should be properly reinforced. The concrete should also be designed to resist cracking and spalling. Finally, use only approved materials. Use only materials that are approved for underground use. This includes conduit, cable, connectors, and other accessories. Approved materials are designed to withstand the harsh conditions of the underground environment. Using unapproved materials can lead to premature failure and can create a safety hazard. By following these additional guidelines, you can ensure that the underground SER cable installation is safe, reliable, and code compliant. Remember to always consult with a qualified electrician and to follow all applicable codes and standards.